Friends, this is the second video of Staphylococcus. So, let's begin with antibiotic sensitivity. So, let's start with antibiotic sensitivity. Most of the strains of Staphylococcus aureus were sensitive to penicillin originally. Soon after penicillin came to be used clinically, resistant strains began to emerge. Penicillin resistance in Staphylococci is due to some points. Let's discuss about these points. First is production of lactamase, that means penicillinase, which is plasmid coded and transmitted by transaction or conjugation. The same plasmid may also carry genes for resistance to other antibiotics and heavy metals. Beta lactamase inactivates penicillin by splitting the beta lactam ring. Four types A and D of penicillinase are produced by Staphylococcus. Now let's know about reduction in affinity of penicillin binding proteins of the staphylococcal cell wall for beta lactam antibiotics. These changes is normally chromosomal in nature. This type of resistance also occurs in beta lactamase resistant penicillin such as methicillin, methicillin, napcillin, and oxacillin. They may cause outbreaks of hospital infection. These strains are called methicillin-resistant Staphylococcus aureus. In short, MRSA. Vancomycin or teicoplanin is used for treatment of infections with MRSA. As methicillin is an unstable drug, oxacillin is used for sensitivity testing. These strains are resistant to all beta-lactam agents and often to other agents such as aminoglycosides and fluoroquinolones. Methicillin resistance correlates with the presence of the resistant gene MAC-A that codes for a unique penicillin binding protein not affected by beta lactamase resistant penicillins. This gene is transmitted chromosomally. Although predominantly a hospital pathogen, MRSA is becoming more common in community. Eradication of colonized sites with tropical agents is often indicated for reducing the risk of cross infection in hospital. Bacterium may also develop tolerance to penicillin by which it is only inhibited and not killed. Now let's know about epidemiology. Human patients and carriers are the commonest source of infection. About 10 to 30% of healthy persons carry the bacteria in nose and less often in skin, axilla, perineum, and throat. In hospital, more than 50% of nursing staff are carriers of Staphylococcus aureus. Staphylococcal disease may be exogenous or endogenous. It spreads by contact, either direct or through fomites or by other vehicles. Staphylococci are the commonest cause of hospital cross infections. These bacteria are often antibiotic resistant strains. These hospital strains spread from the hospital staff or other patients. The positive operative wards, operating rooms, in intensive care units, newborn nursery, and cancer chemotherapy wards are at the highest risk of these infections. Now let's know about laboratory diagnosis. First is specimen. These are collected according to the nature of lesion. First is pus cell, that is suppurative lesions, sputum, respiratory infections, blood, that is septicemia or PUO, urine, urinary tract infection, CSF, that is meningitis, feces, food poisoning, food or vomit, food poisoning. Nasal and perineal swabs are collected for detection of carriers. Now let's know about collection and transport. Specimens should be collected in sterile containers under all aseptic conditions. Sterile swabs should be used for collection of specimens from sites such as nose or perineum. In case of urine, midstream urine should be collected. Blood should be collected in blood culture bottles comprising of glucose broth, tocoric, tocolate broth. Specimens should be transported immediately to the laboratory and processed. Now let's know about direct microscopy. Direct microscopy with gram stained smears of pus or wound exudate is useful, where gram positive cocci in clusters may be seen. This is of no value for specimens where mixed bacteria flora are normally present, example sputum. Now let's know about culture. The specimens are inoculated in some media, that is blood agar or peptone water. Specimens where staphylococci are expected to be scantily or outnumbered by other bacteria are inoculated on selective media such as salt water, salt agar, salt milk agar, Robertson's cooked meat medium containing 10% NaCl, sodium chloride. The inoculated media are incubated at 37 degrees centigrade for 18 to 24 hours. Next day, culture plates are examined for morphology of bacterial colonies and other characteristics. Uniform turbidity is produced in liquid medium such as peptone water. Gram staining from colony on blood agar and hanging drop preparation from peptone water are done to further characterize the bacteria. Now let's know about colony morphology and gram staining. In blood agar, colonies are 2 to 4 in diameter, circular, raised, opaque, and produce golden yellow pigment. Beta hemolysis is seen around these colonies. The pigment is not diffusible into the medium. On gram staining, they are gram positive cocci arranged in grape-like clusters. Non-motile cocci in clusters are seen in hanging drop preparation. Now let's know about biochemical reaction. Catalyze first is catalase test. All staphylococci, that is pathogenic or non-pathogenic, are catalase positive. This test distinguishes staphylococcus from streptococcus, which is catalase negative. Now let's know about coagulase test. It is positive in Staphylococcus aureus but negative in other staphylococci. It helps in differentiating a pathogenic strain from non-pathogenic strains. This test has been described here. Other tests which are positive in pathogenic strain and distinguish it from non-pathogenic staphylococci. Now we will discuss. Mannitol fermentation. First is mannitol. Third point is mannitol fermentation. Acid production without gas. Here what happens? Acid production without gas. Fourth point, gelatin liquefaction, that is positive. Telluride reduction, that is positive. Production of enzymes phosphatase and deoxyribonuclease, that is both are positive. Besides mannitol fermentation, other carbohydrate may also be fermented but not helpful in diagnosis. Now let's know about bacteriophage typing. It is done for epidemiological purposes to trace the source of Staphylococcus aureus infections. It is especially useful for in food poisoning. Bacteriophage typing. It is done for epidemiological purposes to trace. It is especially useful for in food poisoning in large number of persons affected in the community. Other typing methods include antibiogram pattern, plasmid tapping, ribotyping, and DNA fingerprinting. Now let's know about antibiotic susceptibility. This is important as staphylococci develop resistance to drug readily. Antibiotic sensitivity can be determined by Stokes method or Kirby-Bour method. Now let's know about the treatment. Benzyl penicillin is the most effective antibiotic in sensitive strains. Cloxacillin are used against beta-lactamase producing strains. Vancomycin is used in treatment of infections with MRSA strain. Some resistant to vancomycin and teicoplanin have appeared in hospitals. For mild superficial lesions, topical applications of Bacillus strains or chlorhexidine may be sufficient. Some strains show drug tolerance. These strains will be found susceptible in the disc diffusion method, but their minimum bactericidal concentration MBC will be very much higher than minimum inhibitory concentration. They are not killed by antibiotics in the routine dose. The carriers are treated by local application of antibiotics such as bacitracin and antiseptics such as chlorhexidine. In resistant cases, rifampicin along with another oral antibiotic may be useful. Now let's know about M control. First point is source isolation and treatment. Second is detection of carriers among hospital staff, their isolation and treatment. Third point is sterilization of instruments. Fourth is detection of staphylococcal lesions and their treatment. Fifth is stop misuse of antibiotics. Now, another point is other coagulation positive staphylococci. Certain strains of coagulase positive staphylococci do not possess all the characteristics of Staphylococcus aureus. These organisms are called Staphylococcus intermedius. They are mostly of animal origin. Staphylococcus is another coagulase positive staphylococcus but does not infect humans. Now let's know about coagulase negative staphylococci. Coagulase negative staphylococci from the part of normal flora of skin. They are opportunistic pathogens which cause infection in debilitated or immunocompromised patients. Staphylococcus epidermis. Now let's know about Staphylococcus epidermis. It is a skin commensal and acts as opportunistic pathogen in prosthetic devices. Example: prosthetic heart valves, intraperitoneal catheters, orthopedic prostheses, and vascular grafts. It may cause septicemia and subacute bacterial endocarditis. It may produce stitch abscess. It mainly acts as pathogen in immunocompromised individuals. These their etiological role may be proved by repeated isolation. Now let's know about Staphylococcus saprophyticus. It acts It acts as an opportunistic pathogen. It is an important cause of urinary tract infection in young women. Finally finished. Any questions regarding this, you can ask me in the comment box. Thank you.